Hi everyone, I'm Cornelius of Voice Studio East. I am an authorized CVT teacher and I'm here today to give a quick overview of complete vocal technique with a particular focus on the concept of metal and the four vocal modes: neutral, curbing, overdrive, and edge, each of which will also be addressed separately in subsequent videos. Metal is a sound quality typically found in loud modal singing and is one of the key parameters that differ between the modes. It's a very energetic, powerful sound that could be described as a kind of brassiness or auditory roughness. It is particularly associated with belting, as found in, for example, rock, gospel, musical theater, and other genres with powerful vocals. Accordingly, we will concern ourselves first with the most belty vocal modes, namely overdrive and edge. Overdrive is a metallic shouting or calling voice which relies on open vowels and the yell timbre discussed in my resonance series. It sounds like this.
Left my sweet soul neath the bedclothes.
Overdrive lends itself very well to a dark, spacious sound color, but as with all the modes, it is capable of accommodating a whole range of sound colors. It can only be used with the vowels e and o, as well as various minor variations on these two. This makes it the most restrictive mode in terms of vowels, but it nevertheless finds a lot of use in many different styles of music. It can be found by establishing a bite like this and taking care to shape the vowels correctly. To find the bite, it can be helpful to imagine a block of wood between the molars, thus separating them and creating vertical space inside the mouth. Other singers might find overdrive more easily by simply trusting their instincts and shouting or calling out like this. Hey! Yo! Being very shouty, overdrive can get a bad rap at times, with many teachers alleging it is unhealthy and puts great strain on the vocal folds. This is not true, but dispelling these myths is beyond the scope of this video. Viewers who are skeptical or perhaps just want to know more can, however, check the description for a link to my video on vocal strain. For now, suffice it to say that overdrive is unhealthy only if performed incorrectly. A pitch limit of C5 for men or D5 for women must be observed, as the resonance tuning required for overdrive cannot be maintained higher than this pitch. Unless, of course, we use so much twang that it turns into edge, which is the next mode we will discuss. It sounds like this.
Held my head high, knew I'd survive. I made it, don't hate it, that's just the way it goes.
Edge is a metallic mode with a much sharper timbre than overdrive, being characterized by distinct twang. Twang is a narrowing of the epiglottic funnel and pharynx, which brightens and sharpens the tone, adding more treble to the sound. It can be found by imitating a duck, a witch, a buzzer from a game show, or a snarl, ah! As with overdrive, it can also be helpful to establish a bite, though the space between the molars is less helpful here, except in the high range, and can even be counterproductive lower down. The easiest vowels in edge are e, and though the requisite characteristic of an edge vowel is simply that it can be formed with sufficient twang. Thus, there is in practice a rather wide range of vowels available to singers who are proficient with edge. Since the vowel e is favorable to both overdrive and edge, one particularly effective way of finding edge is to sing e in overdrive and then add twang to it.
Hey!
It is important to stress that the characteristic sound of edge is a sharp clarity, not nastiness per se. It is perfectly possible to make edge sound pleasant or even outright refined, as in, for example, classical music, where edge is actually rather widely used. Though it certainly can also sound nasty as well, if that is what the singer wants. Conversely, it is not the case that any nasty or twanged sound is automatically in edge. It must have the characteristic sharpness or brassiness to be considered edge. This will most often manifest as a very distinctive buzzing sound that can also be a guiding light when practicing edge. If you are trying to make a twanged, ready sound and not having much luck finding edge, try instead to make a buzzing sound and make the buzz as loud and distinctive as you can. That buzz is what metal sounds like in edge. Of course, not all singing is as powerful and, so to speak, in your face as overdrive and edge. For a mellower sound, one option is to use curbing, which sounds like this.
Gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, you did.
Curbing is a moderately metallic mode with a restrained or contained character. It can be found by establishing a hold, like being about to make a point, but stopping yourself. Then keep the hold in place and sing through it. It is very important that you don't release the hold when you start vocalizing, but instead keep it in place and sing through it. It can also be helpful to use creaky onsets like this, which automatically give you the curbing hold. An entirely different way to find curbing is to start in edge or overdrive and then add a crying or sobbing quality like this. Oh, oh, oh. This is especially useful for musical theater as it produces a sound with less harshness than the approach based on the hold. The main vowels in curbing are oo, o, and a. The requisite characteristic of a curbing vowel is simply that it must have a restrained or contained sound, which can be superimposed on a wide variety of vowels. In fact, adding a bit of nasality is very often sufficient to make a vowel suitable for curbing. Thus, like with edge, there is in practice a wide variety of vowels available to singers proficient with curbing. For some singing, even curbing is too intense. This is where neutral comes in, the only non-metallic mode, which is on that account also the only mode accommodating of breathy phonation. It sounds like this.
The bell has been raised from its watery grave. Do you hear its sepulchral tone?
Or like this.
A call to all, pay heed the squall.
Or even like this.
And turn your sails to home.
It can be found by reducing the volume and relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the torso is also often helpful, as this effectively decreases the support energy to levels more accommodating of neutral. While neutral can be loud in the high range, it is the only vocal mode capable of being quiet, so all quiet singing is done in neutral. The loudness inherent to all the other modes imposes constraints on the vocal tract shaping, as it must serve as an effective resonator. Since neutral need not be loud, it does not make any such impositions on the vocal tract shape, so all vowels can be used in neutral, though some may still be easier than others. Neutral may sometimes imitate characteristics of other modes, so it is quite common that a singer may be singing a twanged neutral thinking it is edge, or a restrained neutral thinking it is curbing, or even a shouty neutral thinking it is overdrive. The difference is the presence or absence of metal, which will become easier to recognize as you get more familiar with the CVT modes. In Edge, the metal manifests as a very distinctive buzzing character, but in Overdrive and Curbing, it can sometimes be masked a bit by the spacious or restrained character, respectively. With time and practice, however, it will become easier to tell. As mentioned in the beginning, future videos in this series will address the modes individually, but we have reached the end of this brief overview. Remember to like and subscribe for more content, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in a comment below. Thanks for watching.